I remember that day vividly. The shock of betrayal, the sting of their words, the way the world seemed to fracture in an instant. My best friend, the one I trusted with my secrets, had shared my struggles with everyone. My therapy sessions, the very act of seeking help, of confronting my vulnerabilities, became ammunition for their mockery. They called me weak, a disgrace, a failure to the family's reputation. It felt like a punch to the gut when I heard the whispers, saw the judgmental glances. My parents especially took a cruel stance. They publicly questioned my judgment, dismissed my therapy as a sign of fragility. "She's not strong enough," I recall my father sneering. "Therapy? That's for people who can't handle life," my mother added, her voice dripping with disdain. Their words cut deeper than the humiliation inflicted by my so-called friend. I was cast aside, humiliated in front of everyone I loved. For weeks, I was broken. I doubted myself, questioned everything I stood for. I wanted to vanish, to disappear from a world that had turned against me. But beneath that despair, something within me ignited a quiet fury, a refusal to be defined by their contempt. I decided then that I would not let their words be my end. I would prove them wrong, not with loud declarations or petty revenge, but through resilience. I channeled their judgment into fuel. I threw myself into my work, into my passions. I pushed past every doubt, every whispered insult. I embraced my vulnerabilities, not as weaknesses, but as sources of strength. I shared my journey publicly, the struggles I faced, the therapy that saved me, the growth that arose from the pain. Slowly, I built a life that none could dismiss. I became recognized not just for success, but for authenticity, for owning my story. Years later, I stood on the same stage where my humiliation had once been paraded around like a trophy for their ridicule. My parents watched from the front row, their faces a mixture of surprise and something else, perhaps regret, perhaps pride. I looked directly into their eyes as I spoke about resilience, about transformation, about the power of vulnerability. I told them how every harsh word, every doubt, had shaped me into someone unbreakable. My voice trembled with emotion, but my message was clear. I had turned their condescension into my triumph. I had become unstoppable, not despite their judgment, but because I refused to be defined by it. I was no longer the girl they thought they could shame or silence. I was a testament to the strength born from pain, a living proof that vulnerability is not weakness, but a path to true power. When I finished, silence fell. My parents, face shadowed with reflection, clapped tentatively at first, then with genuine admiration. In that moment, I saw them see me not as a disappointment, but as a woman who had risen from the ashes of betrayal, wielding her scars as armor. That was my revenge, not revenge for revenge's sake, but the poetic justice of transforming pain into purpose. I walked off that stage knowing I had reclaimed my story. I had proved that no betrayal, no humiliation could define me. I was stronger, wiser, finally free. My journey from humiliation to empowerment was the greatest victory I could have ever claimed, an unbreakable testament to the resilience of the human spirit.